These past few years have been hell on earth, but I did what I needed to. I fought through, because that's what fighters do. We make a way. Through all the tears and the pain, hopefully one day, they'll remember the name. Hey, Mr. Invincible. I leave the hospital and straight to the studio. My life a movie, ho. Be careful, you.
All right, I'm Mickey Knox. This is the Blunted After Dark podcast. I'm here with D3cade. He's an artist from Oklahoma, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Got that correct. You are 28
Yep.
and you were born with Spina Bifida.
Yep. I don't even have to do an introduction. You gonna do it for me, shoot. It's gonna be an easy interview.
No, I mean, I feel like when you interview somebody, you should do your research. So I try to do my research.
I like it.
So being like you being born with Spina Bifida, like how was that a challenge for you, like growing up and like going through school and just being a young man trying to like navigate?
Well, that's a good first question. It was cool. I mean, I got picked on a lot when I was younger. I mean, kids will be kids.
Right,
That's what it
exactly.
boils down to. I got to an age where I wasn't taking it though, so people
Yeah,
eventually got punched in the mouth for it. But
right.
yeah,
you get to that point, get bullied. You like, man, I'm over this.
They threw the C word at me, crippled, and I can't do it. I'm only gonna be too many crippled. That's like calling a female the B word, and
it's also
we just not gonna do that.
It's cowardly too, but again, kids are dumbass kids. So
Kids
you know
what
I'm saying?
Exactly, kids will be kids. But once you get to a certain age, it's like, nah, we gotta learn what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
But I graduated in 2013 from Ada High School. It's in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So it's like southeast Oklahoma or southwest Oklahoma, one of the two.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my directions right.
I don't know.
I did. I managed football. I managed a lot of sports growing up because I couldn't play.
Right.
My disability, obviously.
Right.
I couldn't play any contact sports. I did play baseball for about 9 years when I was younger, up until I was probably like middle school. That's when it started to get more competitive, and I tried to play my freshman year. I went to like 4 different schools my freshman year, but
high school.
Some were high schools, and then some like they had the 9th grade in the junior highs.
I just was asking because I went through the same thing in my 9th grade year. Like I had transferred from like the school that all my cousins went to. I just kept getting kicked out though.
No, I had me and my mom moved a lot. Is
Yeah.
a short answer to that one.
Yeah, relocated a lot.
Yeah, I've lived in multiple different states.
So how was that like you moving around a lot? How you make friends and being that young and then having a disability? Like how was that experience?
I think the disability kind of helped with that
a
little bit. It kind of makes me approachable, I guess, is what the word would be.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm just a people person, really. Like if I click with you, I click with you. If I don't, then I don't. And I'm a Leo on top of that, so I don't know if you mess with the zodiacs. Oh, you a Virgo? My mom's a Virgo. Okay, we rocking already.
The same way. Or once you cross us, we're done. Like you're dead.
Can't do it. I don't even care if you dead.
Right.
That's
exactly.
Just how I am.
At that point.
Like you just not on this earth at all to me.
Exactly.
Like, who are you?
Right. That's horrible. But continue.
But
so I'm gonna move on to the next question. So how then moving around and like relocating a lot, did you like get into like hip hop, like or rapping? Like how did all that?
Well, I started writing when I was like 12 or 13, and it was like a way for me to productively express myself.
Right.
It was a way for me to not get in trouble for whooping somebody's ass, basically.
Exactly. Kind of like all your anger and all your energy
Yeah,
into
take it
it.
out on a microphone,
Right.
basically, or a notepad. Back then,
Right.
I started
Exactly.
recording when I recorded my first verse when I was 17. I want to say.
Oh, you was in the stool early.
Yeah. Well, I grew up around rappers and stuff. I grew up in the hood, so I started writing when I was 13. Is what I'll say. And then I recorded my first song, well, my first verse. It was a feature.
Mm.
Uh, Shout out Lotto. I don't even
All
know where
right.
he is nowadays, but he was the first person to ever get D3 on a mic.
We gonna focus on you. So another thing, I think I read in your column. I think I don't want to misquote the name of the paper, but in the column that you did with them, you said you had 28 surgeries.
It's actually
Wait,
over 30 now, so you probably
wow.
read an old one. But I guess I can talk about that now since you brought that up. So yeah, I've had over 30 surgeries. I was told I'd never walk, never talk, basically never do anything.
Right.
And I have so I've had hit I've had it's basically brain surgery. I was born with hydrocephalus is what it's called, and that's
Mm.
basically water on the brain. So they
Oh yeah.
placed what's called a shunt,
Yeah.
and then
I
it
know.
circulates my brain
The
fluids.
the fluids off of
Yeah,
your brain.
yeah. So I don't die or go
Right.
blind. Basically, it's pretty major. But
Yeah, very.
uh, that's I've had that surgery 4 times. I think a lot of my surgeries were when I was a baby, like
Right.
a
Like
few
where
months
you were.
old. I was in the hospital until I was like 4 to 5 months old. I think I'd have
Wow.
to verify that with my mom to make sure. She'll probably correct me when she hears this. But I
Right.
wasn't in the hospital for that long. I don't. It was a long time, and I was actually in the hospital when the.
Yeah, but that's still a long time for you to be a infant, and then you gotta. I can't imagine like as a parent, you leaving your baby and having to
Mhm.
visit your baby
I didn't
in
even
the
mention that my
hospital.
mom was actually 15 when she had me. She turned 16 2 weeks later, so
Wow.
I was a sweet 16 birthday present. Hey.
That's that's a good line.
I always said my mom
Oh
actually just messes
man,
me.
I wish my parents was young so I could hit them with lines like that.
My mom is literally my best friend. I
My
tell people that
parents
all
are
the time.
old man.
Every time we go somewhere in public, your wife is beautiful or your sister is just so pretty. I'm like, that's my mother, but thank
Right.
you. Thanks for the compliment.
But what's crazy is my mom is older and she looks younger, so well, I must just look older now because they be like, "You guys are sisters." I'm like, she's like 70. Like,
Uh,
what
hey,
you trying to say over here, bro?
uh,
I don't
either
understand.
somebody looking really good.
And somebody looking bad in this equation, and I'm guessing it's my mama. Too
But
much
yeah,
drinking and drugs, I guess.
the other thing that made the number go up. So in 2021, I'll start in 2020. In 2020, I was hospitalized probably 8 times that
Mm.
whole year in a span of like a couple weeks to a couple days on each time. And I went through septic shock at least once. I say twice, but
Right.
uh, I don't know if anybody. I need to explain septic shock,
I
but that's
mean, I know
basically
what it
where my
is.
kidneys tried
Maybe
to fail on me, and
right.
I almost died.
Exactly.
But so in 2021, January 2021, my kidney doctor at the time wanted to put in what are called nephrostomy tubes
Mm.
and
And what are those?
bilateral. So basically, they stick tubes through my back into my kidneys
Right.
so that could release the
The
drainage
time. Okay.
or the blockage, not drainage.
Right.
Let me not look down.
No,
No,
I,
but
Basically, the toxins inside the kidneys that if to be drained out through the tubes.
Or it was game over, basically.
Right.
So I had those tubes in from January to December of 2021. I will never understand why he wanted me to keep them in that long, but
yeah,
a lot of those surgeries, I count them as surgeries. I'm under the knife.
I mean,
and I'm
you're under anesthesia.
put under, yeah. So it's a surgery to me.
Right.
I had probably 4 or 5 different times that they replaced them. And what's even more crazy about that is whenever they take them out, you're awake.
Right, because they just snatch them out.
He literally
because they claim it doesn't hurt that bad.
Yeah, like I went in for a checkup and he was like, "Okay, you're good." He was like, "We can take them out." And I was like, "Okay," expecting them to like set up a meeting or something to plan it out.
Right.
And he was like, "All right, you ready to take them out?" I was like, "We're doing it right now."
Right now, right?
He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull them out at the same time. Me and my assistant."
And they just.
I was like, "Is it gonna hurt?" He was like, "Well, it's not gonna feel good." And then he just said 1, 2, 3 and yanked, and it was, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a bus hitting me. I felt like that for a couple days, but it was also relieving.
I can imagine in your back, they was connected to your kidneys and they just yanked it out.
Yeah, I still did shows with the tubes in my back and all that too. I'm still working.
Right.
I did the state fair with tubes in my back, the Oklahoma State Fair. I don't know anybody else that can say that.
I mean, I got a clip of that. I'm gonna play this clip I had pulled up and made.
We pray that they never. I'm your brother forever. I'm one call away. I can be there whenever. Always remember, live your life with no error. Avoid the word never, cause it can always be better. You're a go-getter. There ain't nobody fresher. I wrote this verse in a letter. You make me wanna be better. I'm an Oklahoma hero like I'm pretty boy Floyd. Fancy all around me like I'm pretty boy Floyd. All these people stalking like I'm pretty boy Floyd. Do whatever.
I was vibing to that.
That's actually I didn't have my tubes in my back on that one.
Yeah, I think that was last.
That was this last year. The year before that is when I did it. That was my first time. I've been on the Oklahoma State Fair stage 3 times.
Now,
I did it twice last year.
And you on the big stage.
It's not really the main stage. It's like a side stage, but it's a big stage. But you got a lot to work with. I'm like, okay, I can do something with this. Like I just got me and my DJ. Like that's all we got to do.
And I've been at some state fairs where they be having a small stage, or they just have a big
or
stage.
there's no stage at all.
Right.
There's some places that are like that, and I avoid those places at the state fair. I will only perform on the stage that I perform on at the state fair.
Right. I understand.
Because number one, there's a ramp that I can get up there, and that's one of my biggest. What's the word? Pet peeves about venues and stuff. Like I'll go to.
They don't have like accessibility.
Yeah, like a lot of venues out in Bricktown. I'll go and I'll just try to go out and like a friend will be performing or something, and I can't get in. I'm like,
because it's a million stairs.
Yeah, I'm like, how do y'all like y'all just don't expect disabled people to party? Like, you like to have fun too.
Yeah, there's a lot of places downtown in Detroit, man. Like you go to parties. I remember I went to this one party downtown. It was so many stairs, and they was like marble stairs. And I'm not disabled, but I was drunk, and I'm like, how?
That don't mix.
This seemed like people gonna be busting their ass all night because the party all the way up here, and then you gotta walk down 3 flights of marble stairs.
Yeah, that's a recipe waiting to happen.
I'm like, man, I'm just gonna go down the street to the casino because I can't even do it.
I've never been to Michigan or Detroit either. I was just on somebody's podcast that's from Detroit. The music god, C-Day Plain.
Oh, okay. I would have to check them out.
I almost went blank.
Like Detroit, it be a lot of stuff going on in Detroit. Truthfully, I don't be like on the scene like that here. I be going other places, man.
Yeah. That's how Oklahoma is for me.
I've been in Florida for the past couple years, like going to Orlando, going to Miami, just floating through.
That's a lot better weather than Detroit.
I know, and that's what I
Uh,
was saying. I was supposed to go
uh,
before it started snowing, but then every time I wanted to go, then it was an ice storm.
uh,
Wow. Then my
it don't
friend
want you to leave. It's trying to trap you.
is trapping me. I
Uh,
got the weather depression. Like I'm ready to go. My
weather
brother's
depression.
like, let's go to California. I'm like, check the tickets, man. It's probably gonna snow tomorrow. It just snowed like 6 inches and melted in 2 days.
The weather's been crazy in Cali too.
I know.
I got a cousin out there. He was like,
It
"Hello,
snowed
it's
when my brother
been
went.
raining
He
like
like,
crazy and yeah, snowing."
yeah,
I
his
was like, "What
crazy
is
ass like,
going
I'm gonna go
on?"
back though. I'm like, it's
Like,
snowing in Michigan. Just come home.
I'm about to grab a Bible and start praying. Is what I'm about to do.
I mean, hey, at this point, we just gotta
Uh,
accept that Earth is on
getting
some
real,
limited time.
getting very real.
We just gotta laugh and just, I guess, live through it.
That's all I'm doing. Shoot,
I mean, that's all you
I
can
made it
do.
this far. So,
I mean, shit, I made it through a lot of
I
shit.
done already beat all them other odds. Might as well try another one.
I mean, but every day, like, and that's why, I wanted to have you on and talk to you specifically because, like I said, I was telling you before we started recording that my partner on this podcast she passed away, but she was the person that defied the odds. She was blind. She had kidney failure, but she would not sit down. Like she started her own nonprofit. We both started two separate podcasts because she was competitive. She was like, "No, I don't want no podcast with you. You go smoke weed and be high over there. I'm gonna interview people for real that do real stuff."
Let you
And
have it.
then she was like, "Nah, I'm just come over to your podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, because my podcast lit. Because I be high, man. I just talk shit and get high.
The dark side.
I just like to have conversations with people. Like, that's all this should be. Like, because we both
Yeah,
friends.
that's a message for up and coming artists. Matter of fact, interview is easy. Just be you, and it flows so much better.
I
That's
mean,
what I've learned.
that's the thing that all these people with podcasts need to understand too, because there's too many podcasts out here. People be acting like really like they got all their business together when they know you just a one man show. Like everybody else out
I
here
claim
trying to make
Shoot, I do everything myself.
claim that shit,
I
stand
do it
that
all.
shit, and just continue to try to level
I
up.
am. Well, my mom helps manage. I'll give her that. My mom stays on my ass about the managing side. But she was just telling me, she was like, "You need to be practicing. I got my release show tomorrow."
But you're blessed to have your mom be able to be your manager. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people like me, I'm doing this shit by myself. I do everything. I just started having my brother help me, but he's like my younger brother. So then I gotta remind him to do stuff. I have to DM him and be like,
good old younger siblings. I'm the oldest of three.
We ain't even that far apart in age, but he just, he be on his shit, but it just be like sometimes he just be in his own world, and I be like, remember I told you this, never mind, I got it.
Speaking of brother and sisters, that first song in that video that you played, that's called "Nice to Meet You." That's actually a song I wrote for my brother and sister because we were separated real young, and basically my mom and their dad got a divorce. We have different dads. Right. My father was murdered when I was 13 months old, so I don't know a lot about my dad.
So their dad was your dad. I mean, is your dad?
A little. That's, I don't know how to explain that situation. Really.
No, what I mean, like, was he like the male figure in your life? Because
yeah, up until they divorced, which they divorced when I was really young. I was probably 9 or 10, so I was young. I didn't find out about my real dad until I was 8, and that was my mom. Basically, she wanted me to understand it, and she wanted to wait to tell me, and actually, so I could be like, okay, this is who my father is. So
Right. Where you
I
could
get
be
it.
able to process and at least, have some feelings about
Yeah,
it
kind
and
of put the
not too
pieces
young.
together and be like, okay, like,
Yeah.
uh. But yeah, I wrote "Nice to Meet You." That was on my first album. Every Step is a Struggle.
Yeah.
Uh, it was just my way of reintroducing myself to him, basically. So the first verse is for my brother, and then the second verse is for my sister.
So you met them finally in person. How did that
Well, I
go?
knew him. We like lived
I know
together
you
and stuff
guys like
before the
really knew of
divorce.
each. You guys knew of y'all knew of each, of course. But you gonna get what I'm saying. Like sometimes when divorce happens, because I have a sibling like this outside of my siblings, and my mom and dad were together for like years, and then got divorced
Mhm.
when I was 10. And so like I never knew that I had a sister. So I met her for the first time and we like just like she's like I think was like 10 years older than me.
Mhm.
And it was just like interesting. But
Mhm.
we became cool, like we started hanging out. It's just crazy how stuff like that happened. Like she knew of me,
Mhm.
but of course I didn't know of her because I was young. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, I kind of had a relationship with my brother throughout the years, like texting and stuff like that. And there's this festival in my hometown. It's called the
Uh,
Rattlesnake Hunt Festival, and everybody goes, and it's fun. It's They actually have rattlesnakes. They go hunt.
I was about to
It's
ask.
to control the population because there's a lot of rattlesnakes in Oklahoma. If anybody didn't know that,
Wow.
so they go and they collect
Oh
them, and then
wow.
they do contests, and then they butcher them. You can like watch them butcher them, and people eat them. Like rattlesnake is good. It tastes like chicken. It's like a
Oh
chewy
man,
chicken.
everybody say that about stuff that ain't
Mhm.
chicken.
I swear it does though. I promise you, it tastes just like chicken, but it's greasier and it's like a rubber almost.
Oh
It's like
man,
real
all
tough.
right. Okay, so what else can you do to the rattlesnakes? Can you shoot the rattlesnakes?
You can. That's
You can?
probably how a lot of people hunt them.
No,
But
I'm talking about
they
at the
usually just chop
festival.
their head off. Is how they usually do it. Like whenever they're butchering them,
So
they
you can only just watch them kill them. Like you
no,
can't
no, no,
kill
no.
them.
You can't do it. No, that's a
Oh.
health. They have regulations. They have a trained team that does it. Which my uncles and stuff were actually they do so the local fire department. They have a
Right.
volunteer fire department.
Uh-huh.
They're actually the ones that control that handle the snakes and stuff. So
Whoa.
one of my uncles, he did it for years.
Sounds like fun.
It's a lot of fun, but yeah, me and my brother would meet up there
Right.
and sneak pictures and whatnot. But
Aw,
my
that's
me and my
cool.
sister never really had a relationship like that until I wrote that song. Well, it was a little bit before that song came out, probably about 6 months before that song came out. That was when I started to kind of get to know them again and stuff. They got to come around us, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, to even because sometimes it can turn out bad in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like you meet your sibling and they just like like even if like I said, it'd be like situations where it like the parent have an outside kid and then they'll come into the marriage with kids and then those kids get separated. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
people go through the same stuff, just
Yeah.
different scenarios and stuff like that. So, okay, back to your music. So, how many projects do you have in total? And then after you say that, talk about like your newest project that's coming out. Is it on March 18th?
Yep.
Correct? All right.
Yes. So I have two projects out already, plus a couple of singles, but
Okay.
and then some features that I've done. But the first one is called "Every Step Is a Struggle." I released that in 2019, and then 2020. No, I think it was 20. I think it was the start of 2021. I dropped an EP called Alter Aspiration.
Okay.
And my very first song, that's actually the
What?
country rap song that was playing in the video.
Yeah.
That's called
That's
Pretty Boy
Pretty Boy
Floyd.
Floyd. I like
Yeah, that
that.
is the very first song I ever did.
Oh, for real?
One of the very verses that I ever wrote is that first verse on that song.
I like
So
that.
that's
That's
like
cool.
that's a special one for me. So I always either start a show with it or end
I was just
it
about to say,
because
like,
that's a
is
fan
that one
favorite.
that gotta go into your
Yeah,
list?
they like that country rap. I'm actually planning a whole country rap project, which I
Okay.
have multiple different projects planned. I have like 18 projects stacked up. I had a lot of planning to do when I had tubes in my back, so
Right. So you were able to like have an
plan a lot out. I
imagination
have a
and
lot of
like
different series I'm
plan.
about to come out with and all kinds of stuff. But the project that I'm dropping on March 18th, which is
uh,
in 2 days, for all you people out there, go get it. It's
right.
actually on pre-sale right now. Uh, throw that in there.
Go.
Throw that promo in there real quick.
Right.
Uh,
Promo the hell out of yourself. That's the way
yeah,
you
so it's
do
called
it.
Mr. Invincible. It's 5 songs.
So it's a
Produced
5
by.
song EP. Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was produced by Kid Cod. He's out of OKC.
Okay.
He used to live in Houston. He's from OKC, I believe, though. But
Okay.
we actually created it in this room I'm sitting in right now. And
Hmm.
he would bring over. He has a little bit better recording equipment, so he would bring
Right.
his stuff over, and we would just record here, and then he would mix it and master it, and then that's how we did it. And we did that project in probably 2 months, I'd say. Once
Hmm.
we got to know each other and then got
Mixing,
the beats picked.
mastering, vibing, and knocking
Well,
out songs.
so that leads me to the release show tomorrow.
Uh,
So I got on this show with Otis Julius is his name. He's out of LA.
okay.
He's toured with Kasky. I think he toured with King ISO. Yeah, he was on the King ISO tour.
Okay.
And a couple other big names. But anyway, he's doing a tour,
Uh,
and he put me on. Well, my homie Had Enough out of Tulsa. Shout out Had Enough. He
had
uh,
enough.
he put me on the show. He's a dope underground artist.
Right.
I might actually have to recommend him to come on the show. But
Right. Please do.
uh, but yeah, he put me on the show, and then I was talking to Otis about it, and I was like, man, I'm dropping an EP. I'm gonna do all new music at the show. And he
Right.
was like, wait a minute. He was like, you're dropping an EP? I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, why don't you make it your release show? And I was like,
That's dope.
okay. I was like, I've never done a release show, so that would be cool to me.
Hey,
So
you
I
gotta let
basically
it go.
scrambled. It was like probably 3 or 4. Well, no, that was probably a month before the show. And scrambled, put it together, which we already had probably 3 songs done.
Right.
So,
And then you just had to finalize the last couple of
mhm,
songs.
yeah. And I guess that can lead me to the track list. The
Yeah.
track list, I got to pull it up. I didn't already forgot. The
What?
number one, the first song is
I
called,
want-
it's just called Intro, but I put Mr. Invincible in parentheses.
right.
I wanted it to basically be called Mr. Invincible,
Invincible.
but it's the intro at the same time.
Right.
Let me pull it up.
I-
See if I can remember off tops. Yeah, I can remember. It's intro, Mr. Invincible. Number 2 is Weak in the Knees. Number 3 is Ready or Not. Number 4 is TTT.
See, I remember
And
that. That's
To the Top.
Yeah.
And then When Will It End? Which is funny for a project to end with a song called that.
When will it end?
I was like, when will this shit end? No. Turn this off. No.
Right.
But,
So you like,
uh,
be like, damn, after the third song.
like, is it ever gonna end? No.
It's
But,
only in 5 songs.
but yeah, those
Yeah, I got
songs,
it.
they're basically a lead up. So I'm planning to drop 3 different EPs this year. The next
Right.
one I'm already working on. It's going to be 4 songs called It's Personal. And
Why is it why is it personal? What?
so the cover of that, so I haven't, since I had the tubes in my back, I
Uh-huh.
stopped walking and all that. So
Right.
basically, I'm having to learn how to walk again with a walker and stuff. So the cover to It's Personal is going to be me taking my first steps with the walker. So
Okay. And you're gonna be like sharing these songs. Are you gonna share like your experiences or your
yeah. So
like?
I'm getting to that part. So I'm
Oh,
doing an
sorry.
album. I'm actually doing an album
Oh,
that I'm dropping next year with a documentary, and
okay.
it's called The Explanation. And
Hmm.
the cover to that is actually me laying in the hospital bed. But
So
basically, these three EPs that I dropped this year are going to be a lead up to next year to the album.
right into the
So
documentary.
yeah,
That's
so
what's up.
I
You got
basically
your
did a lot of
whole.
venting on these songs.
I'm
So
like, dang, you had like your
I
third
got a
move.
plan.
You got your third move, fourth move, fifth move planned
You gotta
out.
stay. I got a 5-year plan. That's what I've
I
always been
love to
taught.
see it. A lot of people don't have 5-year plans.
You got to in this business because
I
there's
feel
too
like you
many people
gotta
trying to do
have.
this nowadays.
I mean, and not only that, I feel like you gotta have a like a 5-year plan in life. Period. You gotta always
Hmm.
have goals and
Hmm.
set goals for yourself. Period. As a
And
person.
chase them
Period.
is a big
And at
one.
least apply yourself.
Exactly. At least try.
Like you can't sit at home and be like, I'm gonna be a producer or I'm gonna do this, and then you never like
Never do
even
it.
throw yourself, you throw your hat in the ring or even attempt to do
That was me about performing for about. I didn't perform until I was probably 21, I think. Or
it.
no,
That's
I was
because
22.
you seem like seeing your videos like you got like a lot of confidence like on stage, like you not sitting around in one spot, you know what I'm saying, like
I've had to learn. I learned. See, okay, so my first show, I was put on. I was put on with a lot of the more experienced artists in
right.
OKC, like DZ, Split Personality. Uh, Me and Split Personality actually have a project that we planned out and never did, but we need to get on that. But
Yeah, but you got a lot going with how you. Well, you probably could fit it in there. Shit, you got about 8 projects going.
I'm always available to.
Right, you
I'll
like
stay
you
in this microphone.
always
Shoot,
you like that. Da,
I
da, da.
love collabing. That's one of my favorite things about being an artist is collabing. I love it.
Yeah, the
I love
collaboration. I
mixing
feel
brains
like
together.
yeah, I feel like when you're a creative, when you collaborate with people, you can learn so much more from somebody else. Like you could learn approach, like how to approach things differently,
Hmm.
like
That
how to
actually leads me into what I was saying about performing.
right,
Uh, I they so I was nervous when I got up there. Like
right,
it gets real
of
whenever
course,
you got 30 people looking at you going crazy.
right.
So and you're in
And
a
they just
wheelchair.
stare directly at you like, "What you
Yeah,
gonna
and
do?"
plus the song I chose to do was called Doubt Me.
uh,
And basically that's a big F you to anybody who ever doubted me.
right.
And in the hook, I say I was told I'd never walk, I stand proudly. But when I performed it, I just
You
sat
s-
there. My mom was
right.
all screaming at me, stand up. Da-da-da-da-da, you can stand. And I just wasn't confident. And then I got
Right.
off stage, and that was when DZ
She
and
like,
Tony from Split Personality, they both told me, they said, you got to be confident. They said,
yeah.
use the nerve, because they saw me shaking. I was literally shaking like this with the microphone,
And
and they could tell.
people can see that when you
Hmm.
perform, and then that make people like look at you like, why should I even pay attention to you?
Exactly.
You don't even
So
believe in
the one,
yourself right now.
yeah, the one thing that DZ told me, he said, use the nerves as adrenaline. And I don't know what about that made it click with
It
me, but
clicked.
it just clicked, and I've been good ever since. I don't know how to. So shout out to DZ, but he's
I
actually
mean,
one of
yeah,
my
you
favorite
take
artists.
something and you make it your fuel. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It does propel you like to get up and prove people wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, and that was another thing I thought about after I did it and started performing more.
Right.
I was like, I'm me, regardless if you like me or not, and I can't change the way I am. So you're either gonna like me or you're not. So
And
I'm
this is
gonna get
my
up here and do what
outlet.
I do.
Yeah, it's my outlet. This my
And,
expression. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like
And
I'm a
confidence is key.
performer.
Number one, for
Right.
anybody out there, be confident if you're going to chase anything. If you
This
ain't
is true.
confident, then why are you doing it?
This is very true.
Like,
You do have to push
straight up.
yourself. Like I got anxiety like a motherfucker, but guess what? I mean, I
I
also
got horrible social anxiety, and I somehow get in front of people and rap.
that's
So,
what I was just about to say. Like I'm
mhm.
very much a state of myself type of person. I got a very tight circle. Like, and I don't purposely try to be like that.
Mhm.
I just am like
Yeah,
that.
I
And,
well, I went through a lot of depression stuff with the tubes in my back. Like it was a very
yeah,
mental battle for me.
I can
That's why
imagine
all
you
this new
did.
music is coming because I gotta let it out.
Right.
So I literally have a song on the project on the album next year.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I'm calling it yet, but I'm actually sampling sounds of me crying in kidney pain,
Oh.
and that's gonna be a deep one. Uh,
Yeah.
but so basically, it's gonna be verses, and then the hook
Look,
is gonna
is
be that part. I found a video of me in the hospital screaming and crying, and there's a part where I say something about this hurts so bad, like in a very sad voice, though, and it sounds perfect on the beat I chose. And
right.
basically, my goal is to make everybody cry as much as possible.
I was just like,
That's just
damn.
the type of rapper I am. Like you're
I
gonna
was
cry
about
when you
to
hear my music.
say, like,
So
are you the type of artist that when you make a song and then you release it, is that like, do you just let that go? Like, not like the memory, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you could deal with it or think about it differently.
I try to with my songs. I try to take a negative and turn it into a positive. Is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Any
Uh,
negative that I go through, if I can come up with a song for it,
yeah.
that's a great way to turn a negative into a positive, and basically turn my pain into pleasure. Is what I call it. I don't know how to, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. But
Sir.
you
Okay, I
got to
got
flip them negatives into positives.
bang, bingo, bingo. Pleasure. Hold on. I'm sorry,
Turn
man.
pain into pleasure.
I ate an edible.
That edible kicking in.
That threw me for a loop. I was sitting here like, wait a minute, what? Sir? Where are we going? But no,
Oh
seriously.
Lord, we getting real after dark now. Uh
We are. Uh,
oh.
let me
Oh,
stop, please.
Lord.
So,
Uh,
is there anything else uh that you doing as far as like you got performances coming up
I got the
besides
release
you
show,
got the release show besides the release show
and not really, no. People
just
don't be
next
booking me.
year because you working up
I'm
into
so I fell off in Oklahoma, I guess is what you would call it. I
what?
stopped doing shows. I had tubes in my back, so I don't know what you want me to do about that. Like I
No,
can't.
I'm saying
That's what I'm
like,
telling. No, I'm talking about the promoters in Oklahoma. Like I can't. I'm sorry that my health comes first, but
but
I
okay,
don't
like
really
I
get
get
booked that much anymore. But I do the state
so.
fair
How is
usually.
Oklahoma's hip hop scene? So you gotta like be active. I mean, I guess that every hip hop scene is kind of
Yeah,
like that to a
that's
certain extent.
every hip hop scene really, but
Yeah,
it's a lot of competition here because
right,
Oklahoma hasn't made it technically yet. I mean, we
right.
have Gang Tai June. I don't know if you even heard of him.
No,
He's signed to Atlantic.
okay. I
He's
have to.
done. He's toured with Kevin Gates. He has a song with Kevin Gates.
Okay,
Uh, he's probably the biggest artist out of Oklahoma right now. Him
I'm gonna
and
have to look. Up. I haven't heard it.
Highland Star. You ever heard that name?
No.
Highland Star. He has a song with a couple different people. Who was that last song that I saw him with? I think No Cap. I think he did a song No Cap. But
Oh,
we got
okay.
a ton of artists here. Like it's a lot, and I'm
I
just now
gotta get
getting
you
back
on.
into the scene.
You wanna know something, man? I listen to the same music, and I actually like interview local artists to get into different types of music
Mm-hmm.
because I just like to find different types of music,
Mm-hmm.
like
I'm the
for
same way.
different.
I love
Yeah,
music.
like my taste in music is very eclectic, and I like what I like. So if I listen to your music and I actually respond, and then I want to talk to you, I mean I actually sat down and listened to your work. Like maybe I may not be really like, oh yeah, I'm super familiar with it, but I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you I listen to everything twice
Mm-hmm.
and three times at this point. So. Yeah, like I do this and try to tend to connect with like different local artists, especially ones with interesting stories,
Mm-hmm.
because you know what I'm saying. I think it's important for like people, you know what I'm saying, in places like Oklahoma or even like Detroit. Like we just not coming up, but like you know what I'm saying. We done got like Peasy and Vezo and shit like 30. They've been
Yeah.
rapping in Detroit
Damn, I didn't know
forever.
that.
They've been rapping in Detroit forever.
I did not know that.
And they just not getting
Uh.
signed. So
Mm-hmm.
like since we was on the outs forever, you know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah.
just not bubbling. So like some of the people you name, I'm like, nah, I don't really know. Cause
Mm-hmm.
shit, I gotta catch up on people that be from here.
I'm trying to think of that song. What is the name of that song that Gang Ty June did? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up on YouTube real quick. Because if there's one song you got to listen to, it's that one. Oh, and the Kevin Gates song. That one is called
I mess with Kevin Gates.
Foreign Gangsta. I think is what, like the number 4, REIGHN
Let me
Gangsta,
see.
and his name is Gang 51E June.
Okay,
So it's Gang
okay.
Ty June, but it's Gang 51E
Yeah,
June.
I got it. Came pop right up.
Yeah, he's got a couple different, and he's been dropping crazy songs. Yep, there it is.
Yeah. All right. I'm not. You know, I'm not gonna play
Yeah, yeah.
this. I don't want to get copyrighted.
No,
But okay.
Otis. That's the name of it. Otis is a good one. That's probably one of my favorite ones by him.
All right. I'm gonna tell. I just played a little bit of it. I don't want them to be suing me and stuff. But
I don't know if I'm.
I
Well, he
mean,
signed
it
to
might
Atlantic,
not
so
be.
I'm guessing it's probably copyrighted.
It's
I'm,
copyrighted. I
I'm sure
think
it
the
is. Well, and Kevin
licenses.
Gates is on that one, so yeah,
The
it's probably
licenses
copyrighted.
is WMG, Warner Music Group.
Oh yeah, they definitely copyrighting that one.
8 seconds. That's all I get.
Warner Music does not play around.
They showed out, man.
They be on it.
They done took down Instagram post of mine from like 2 years ago.
Dang, they going back too far now.
No, for real.
Shoot.
One day I woke up and like Instagram posted like songs and stuff I'm sharing like on my podcast page. You know, follow me at Blended After Dark Podcast. You can do that instead of scrolling. So I just used to post like shit I liked or shit like that. Like they went back 2 years. I had all these disputes on Instagram,
In the
and I
world.
had to you literally gotta type out like I was not using this for promotional purposes,
Yeah, that's so stupid.
or
I'm
they
like,
suspend your page. Damn,
uh,
I thought they ain't supposed to do that to you if you was a blog page. Anyway.
right? Like that don't make no sense. I just now thought of that.
It doesn't at all. They
Like
can see that you're actually
literally
talking
doing your
about the
job.
artist, but it's just because the music is playing. They just copyright it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I
But
don't
in
think
any
mine's
event,
copyrighted. Trying to think if my distribution company does.
oh
I don't
man,
think they do. It's CD Baby
oh,
is what I use.
Oh man,
I don't think
I
it
better
is.
not be getting no dang
Nah, I think
No.
they just pay me. I think that's how that works. They just pay me. So play it as much as you want.
I feel
The
you
more
on
the
that.
better.
Right. Go
Uh,
find his music on YouTube. Subscribe. You got a YouTube page called D3 Fishing. I
I
thought that
got
was
three
funny.
different YouTubes I'm about to start.
So, what's up with the fishing channel?
So the fishing channel, I'm waiting until I can get back walking. That's the biggest
Right.
part.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna start it with I'm gonna review all the lakes in Oklahoma just
Okay.
because it's something different. I ain't never seen nobody do it. And
Yeah.
fishing is like my number two favorite thing to do ever
I
behind
was gonna
music.
ask you that too.
So
I was gonna
that's
ask you before we
I'm either
begin.
happy in a booth or in front of
We're on the
a
water.
lake. Yeah, on some water. That's my two happy places. So
I feel you.
I'm from Oklahoma. I'm country. That's just what it is.
Hey, look,
but
I,
but yeah,
I'm
that's my
not
plan
country, but I
with the
love being on some water. I'll tell you
I
that.
love it. Ain't nothing
Even
like a
with
Oklahoma sunset on a lake.
I well, I can't say that about Detroit, but no, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
The
Y'all got
sunsets.
lakes out there.
No, I was just about to say like our lakes are everything we got. You know, we can look at Canada. You know what I'm saying? It be
I
lit in the
forgot about that.
summer.
Y'all way up there. Shoot.
Yeah, it has. You know, the yachts be on the water. You can listen to like concerts for free at Shane. So you know,
Shoot.
our lakes
I
be
ain't never mad at
popping.
that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and even like the Upper Peninsula is where like all the resorts and stuff is with all the
Mm-hmm.
lakes. Now that's pretty.
You
But
gonna make me come do an episode in Detroit?
hey,
What? Are you there?
oh,
I think you there.
oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. It like cut out for a second. I was like, what happened?
Oh no, StreamYard is had when you get to like an hour on here,
Oh, dang, we have
it
been on
like
there. That's crazy. Does not
yeah,
feel that long. What
it
time?
didn't cut it off. It's still recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like you're at an
Uh,
hour. What's the yeah? We've
like,
been
thank
talking
you.
for a while.
Uh,
You said like, well, thank you.
they like wrap it up, okay? No.
They're like, you motherfuckers are talking way too
Like y'all having too much fun.
long. I mean, well, tell everybody where to follow you.
Uh, my Facebook is at Decade Music D3cade music, all caps. Well, music isn't all caps. Decade is.
Right.
The M in music is capitalized. It's like it is
Okay.
on the screen down here with my YouTube.
Right.
And then the Instagram is D3cade_580.
Right.
And then I have a Twitter, but I don't use it that much because it's
Drop your
toxic as
Twitter.
hell. But it's Decade 580, no underscore, and all caps.
All right.
I try
And
to keep it all simple and the same thing.
and
580 is
then
my area code, so
you said what?
580 is my area
Oh,
code.
580 is the area code.
We call it the Shady 580. That's what we
Oh
call it.
shit.
So I'm a shady baby.
All
That's what
right.
we call it around here.
Shady 580,
The
yes.
Shady 580. That's where I
All
was
right.
born and raised.
All right. We the
But
dirty gloves, so I feel you.
I like it. I ain't never heard that
Yeah.
before, actually. That's crazy that I've
Yeah, the
never heard that. I know
dirty
a couple
glove,
people from
dirty
Detroit.
mitten, the dirty D. Yeah.
The dirty. I've heard that one.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because they call Dallas the D.
Yeah.
We're the D or the dirty D. Well,
Mm.
and I guess follow me at Blooded After Dark
You said I
pod
guess. Y'all better follow her.
on
Quit
Instagram.
playing.
I mean, it'd be uploaded.
Y'all see how entertaining this is. But quit
Mainly
playing with yourself.
because I ate an edible. And
And that makes
he's a
everything
good
fun.
no, but you're actually a good person to talk to. I have fun talking to you off and on. And
Likewise.
I get we'll catch up with y'all later. And deuces.